makes one child more deserving of a great future than any other child? Some of you are already pondering this question, and some of you have said to yourself in just these few short seconds that the question is not relevant to you. That's life. Some kids are born into a family that can provide a path to a great future, and some are not. And the reason that I know what the second group of you is thinking is because for the first 40 years of my life, I felt exactly the same way. Caring for others, solving social issues, helping those in need was the work of other people. You know, those people far less busy than me. Until my life changed forever. It was 2001, and after years of climbing the corporate ladder, I was CEO of the 15th largest hospitality management company in the country. My team of 3,000 managed 53 hotels in 26 states, and I was the only female CEO in the top 15. And then, after years of heartbreaking infertility, I was pregnant with twins. I was overjoyed, and I didn't just think I knew for sure I was going to be the perfect mother and CEO. I'd bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. That all changed when I went into labor at 5.5 months, giving birth to a son, Cooper, weighing 1 pound 8 ounces, and a daughter, Mary Claire, weighing 1 pound 6 ounces, who arrived a solid black bruise from trauma in the womb. It was an agonizing roller coaster. Tiny advancements were eradicated by major setbacks. My daughter was so sick that I didn't even get to hold her until 38 days after she was born. But in the midst of all that agonizing pain, something amazing happened. I had an undeniable emotional awakening, and a protective sense emerged in me like I'd never had before. 2 years later, we moved to San Antonio, and I brought with me this new awakening and this desire to help children and protect children. It was 2005, and by all accounts, great things were happening in San Antonio. But do you know which Texas city had the highest rate of confirmed child abuse cases in 2005? San Antonio. As a woman who could not easily have children and whose own children had less than a 40% chance of survival, I was enraged. I had to know where these children lived. And although child abuse cuts through all kinds and levels of income, I found the majority of them living in our city's poorest neighborhoods. And once I had that knowledge, I knew there were consequences to my inaction. I had been powerless to keep my kids alive when they were born, and I had to do something about these kids. My work with abused children ultimately led me to my role now as CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of San Antonio, an organization that helps kids who need us most build a better tomorrow by focusing on 3 things: academics, character, and healthy lifestyles. Over time, our city has grown and become a city that has so many accolades. We are a city on the rise, and it seems like every day there's a new accolade touting our greatness. But do you know what percentage of children in San Antonio live in poverty? 30%. 30%, and according to the New York Times, we are among the worst counties in the nation in helping kids up climb the income ladder into adulthood. And do you know, although the high school graduation rate has been improving, do you know how many adults in our city don't have a high school diploma? And lastly, do you know how many kids go home alone every day after school? Home alone, 20% of our kids, 20%, when study after study clearly indicates that the most peak hours for juvenile experimentation with drugs, alcohol, sex, and tobacco is between the hours of 3 and 7 p.m. Children in our community are 40% more likely to be the victim of a violent crime after school than on a weekend. It doesn't have to be this way. Organizations like Boys and Girls Club turn the most dangerous time of day into hours of opportunity for kids to develop the skills they need for a great future. Kids like these. This is Demorna. Demorna's mother died when she was 3 years old, and eventually her father's girlfriend moved into the home, and that's when the abuse started. Demorna's was eventually moved to a shelter, and eventually she and her little sister found a permanent home. Her new caregiver brought her to the Eastside Boys and Girls Club, and that's when things changed for her. Demorna had learned to fight with her fist, but at the Boys and Girls Club, she learned new resiliency skills. She started getting serious about school. She'll be the first in her family to go to college, and she plans to major in education. And this is Nathan. Nathan began attending our West Side branch when he was 7 years old, the same year that his father went to prison for life. Over the years, Nathan has really gravitated to our art and computer science programming, and as a result, Nathan wants to be an architect. And while going through our college immersion programs, Nathan has been researching colleges and universities, and as he told me last month, Miss Mock, I'm going to the University of Missouri. And this is Tavion. Tavion came to the Eastside Boys and Girls Club after years of being the victim of extreme bullying. She arrived so broken, without hope, but at the club, she, a girl who was once contemplating suicide, gained confidence. She, in her senior year, is captain of the basketball team and class president. These are just 3 examples of over 8,000 Boys and Girls Club members in San Antonio. Every single day, we see over 4,000 kids. And these 3 examples, they didn't just overcome child abuse and parental incarceration and bullying. These kids are blazing the trail to be the first in their family to go to college, changing generations of their family forever. And Boys and Girls Club? Boys and Girls Club is just one of many wonderful organizations that help our most at-risk kids develop the skills that they need. 2 years ago, with the help of the San Antonio Area Foundation, leaders from nonprofits who provide after-school programs joined forces. Our network is called Excel Beyond the Bell, and working together instead of in silos, we have a bold vision for San Antonio. We will become the top U.S. city for kids to grow, learn, and thrive. And already, we're having an impact. In 2 major school districts last year, chronic absenteeism was 14%. But for kids who attended an Excel Beyond the Bell member program, that rate was cut by 10 points. As John F. Kennedy Jr. said over 50 years ago, the future promise of any nation can be directly related to the current prospects of their youth. The future of San Antonio won't be defined by whether or not we develop our urban core or have light rail to Austin. Both important projects. The future of San Antonio will be defined by the prospects of our youth. Not just your children or mine, which, by the way, Cooper and Mary Claire eventually made it out of the hospital after 91 days, and they just celebrated their 14th birthday. What makes one child more deserving of a great future than any other child? Nothing. Thank you.